lonely, I'm lonely. Oh, my microphone's over here.
Hello! Hi! Hello there! I'm Uncommon, and joining me today is...
I really hope that microphone, me moving it, was the start of the stream. I hope it was the first thing everybody hears.
It was absolutely at least the first thing that I heard. I didn't hear it.
And that's my name.
His name is... I hope that microphone noise didn't disturb you folks, because that's his name. Mm-hmm. His mother had a very difficult time, calling him for dinner.
I always assumed that I was in trouble because she'd have to use my full name. You know, like when your parents yell at you and they use your first, middle, and last name.
Yeah. Normally she's just like, I hope. And then when you're in trouble, it's like, I hope that microphone didn't make noise. Get your ass over here. I hope that microphone noise didn't disturb you. I'm doing the Spartacus thing. It did that scan. Wait a minute. I'm looking at all of my scannable places. Where do you scan things at, Tom? Tom's staring at me into space right now.
You go to a shoe store. You also you scan your lottery tickets.
Lottery tickets.
You scan hot babes.
Ooh, I like it. We were talking about physical scanners, and then we were talking about like
eyeballs.
Looking eyeballs. Did that scan, as in, did what I said make sense? No, I am. I hope the microphone
is that man using hip kid lingo?
I don't think he is, because he's older than I am. If that's possible.
That's not true. Nobody is. God damn it.
Funny enough, I was always the young person among my friend group. So they all turned 21 before me. So like for 6 months or 8 months or whatever it was, they were all going out together to bars. And it was like, guys, can we do something like maybe like a family restaurant instead, or a sports bar?
How about we play Minecraft?
Guys.
You were 21.
It's true.
Yeah.
Even younger than Jen. Yeah, no, I was the youngest person on the installation when I first got there. And actually, I stayed the youngest person. I got there in August, and I was still the youngest person in December. I joined the Air Force at 17 years old. 17 and a half, not like 17 and 11 months, but like I had a good 6-month window where I was still 17, which is great because it just means I retire at 37.
Well, it means you had to lie about your age like they did in World War II. They were
like,
I'm 18.
Yep. That's exactly what happened. I just said I was 18, and they took my word for it. I was shocked.
That's Casey's autobiography. Casey, child soldier.
Child soldier. It's like the first Avenger with Captain America, but child soldier.
Exactly that. You just actually remove Captain America, stick in Casey, same movie.
Haha! Much less interesting. I actually use that to my advantage because, I was 17, I was in the Air Force. I walked off post. We got our first, you can leave post pass. So what I did with it was I walked off post in my uniform and into a tattoo parlor and got my first tattoo at the age of 17. The guy, just not even an ID, just like, yeah, no problem. Here, let me just tattoo some shit on you. And it was a big, Air Force symbol, right on my chest. It was even pretty lame, which has since been covered up by a giant fish.
But that's why you need to be 18, is because you make bad decisions at 17, but at 18 you're totally fine. But you're pretty much, if people watch Top Gun, they know your life story.
Yeah, Top Gun.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Which one am I? Am I the nurse? Is there a nurse? I feel like there's got to be a nurse in that movie. I need you. You got to lean into the microphone. You got to lean in.
Hold on, I'm gonna move the microphone
Yeah.
again.
I've been like increasing your volume, and it's just not working out so well.
Second time this episode. What is this madness? Actually, funny enough, the reason that it was over there is because we were playing D&D.
It's
last
D&D.
weekend. So I used it so
You could.
my lady friend who was next to me could also be heard. Because funny enough, she is not as loud as me. I know. Who would have thought?
You're such a
There we go.
quiet little homebody, though, Tom. That makes sense. That makes sense. John says, Top Gun, that movie about naval aviators, definitely describes our time as non-pilots in the Air Force. Wait, you didn't get to fly a plane? I mean, I was in the Air Force. I wasn't in the computer programmer force there, John. I may have flown
the chair
a few times.
force.
The chair
Ooh.
force. Yeah, no, it's
I know Army slang.
you're like a pilot or you're nothing. We all hate each other, right? Like we're just gatekeeping our own military service from each other. Like if you were in the Army, you know, you hold it against the Air Force. You know, if you're in the infantry, you hold it against the rest of the Army. If you're in the Rangers, you hold it against the rest of the infantry. It just goes on and on and on, and then everybody just hates the Navy SEALs. That's apparently a thing I'm learning. That's fun.
So why does Smokey the Bear hate on the infantry?
Oh, so when I said Rangers, you thought I meant like guys who work at forestry centers and wear big hats and keep picnic baskets from bears.
Yep. No,
I understand your confusion.
Those are the guys. They have the big guns.
They have the bigger guns. Yeah,
Yep.
they have to take out bears and picnic baskets.
They gotta get the whole picnic basket in one shot. You can't have some tater salad just like left over. You got to make sure you blow it all the way, or else the bear will come in.
The bear will get it. No, yeah, you're not shooting the bears. You're protecting nature from picnic baskets.
Exactly.
I love the way they say. I love the way he says a picnic basket.
Oh my god, it all makes sense. Picnic, a boo boo.
A boo boo. Oh man.
Oh man, I can't believe we just lost our entire Ranger audience.
All
See
of
the
them.
numbers falling.
There was somebody here and he was tabbed, and he said, "I'm no park ranger." Oh man, the stories I get to hear. So I spent a lot of my career, not around these higher echelon of warfighters, and now that I'm teaching alongside these higher echelon of warfighters because that's who they want teaching the tactics and techniques here, not just infantry people, but we're fortunate enough to be really close to one of the Ranger battalions. So there are 3 Ranger battalions in the Army. So we're fortunate enough to be right there.
Oh, there's only 3 of them?
Only 3 of them.
Okay.
There's
a lot of forest though.
The idea being is you can have a team of 5 people, like special forces, and throw a lot of money at them, and they're going to be really good, but they're still 5 people. You can have 10,000 people, but you can't throw a lot of money at them. You got a large force. So the Rangers are your, higher end. If you need 100 dudes on the ground to do something fantastic, and they need to be, as good as 100 dudes can be, that's where all your money went.
Okay.
So I learned these things.
So a battalion's 100 people.
No, that's more like a couple of platoons.
Okay, I was gonna say I thought battalions were bigger.
No, yeah, battalions we're talking 800 to 1,000 if I'm just ballparking.
See,
all well-known public
everybody
information.
thought
I'm definitely not giving away secrets.
This just in. Casey's gonna have a lot more time on his stream since he's lost his job.
Since he's in Leavenworth prison.
300 to 800 per Wikipedia.
300 per 800. Yeah, makes sense.
Except me, I'm a one-man battalion. That's what they called me in college.
They
Because I
definitely
had no
smaller
friends,
battalion.
so
You
I
had
was
no
always alone. Yeah.
I'm gonna finish this calzone while you do that. Go ahead.
I saw it. Well, no, it's because I had no friends, so I was always alone. So it's the one-man battalion, and really nobody called me that. It was just me because nobody talked to me. It's a total lie.
You had so many friends.
I had too many friends in college. I went from from nobody to a person in a couple of years, and it was weird. And now I'm back to nobody again. Hey, everybody.
Once you become comfortable with who you are, your personality really comes out, right?
Right.
And you were one of those people who, when I first met, I've met two of these people in my life, and you're the second one. I was like, that's a cool person. I need to know him.
And you know what they say: first is the worst, second is the best,
Third,
and then third. Who cares about third? Because they're after the best. That's the number.
there's another one. I don't even remember the full limerick.
Yeah.
That's just
Well,
that's what first place
and
losers. What's that?
And that's what they'd say. They'd say third is the one with the hairy chest. That's what I would say in my, because at being an 8-year-old with hair on your chest
Was bad.
that wasn't cool. But now it's super cool. Like the fact that I own a chest hair comb is it's a sense of pride.
I mean, I have chest hair. I've never had to comb it. Holy shit, Tom! Does your chest hair get tangled? So you have to.
I just wanted to be cool.
Do you
I've
gel
been
it?
caught in a
Do you
lie.
have like?
I've been caught in a lie. I just want to be cool. Apparently, this isn't cool.
there's a level of chest hair, and how cool it is depends on the woman you're dating, or man.
That's exactly it, right? It's as cool as the person who has to deal with it. It's with it.
I had a friend who was very proud that he was hairy, very proud, very hairy man, but his wife or fiance at the time did not like hairy men, so they compromised, and he got laser hair removal on his back. So like when you look at him now, he's got this hairline that comes down the shoulder in this perfectly straight line down his arm and down his side, and when you go get laser hair removal, they essentially just burn your back with a laser, and it gets like 70% of the hair. So you go back and you tackle that 30% with the second treatment, it gets 70% of that. You just keep going. So it's not hairless like a baby's bottom or anything. It's just like patchy, and I don't know. His fiance was very appreciative, so good for him. Just a story of a man loving his hair and sacrificing it for greater good.
Yeah. So if you love a woman, get laser hair surgery. That's what you can learn at Delvin and Deep.
If I could, I would get laser hair surgery from like here down. Like I would just be bald, baby bottom.
Brought to you by Sam's Laser Hair Removal. Totally legit.
Totally legit.
Thanks,
Sam. Check him out. It has over 300 locations. Oh, man. That's what we need. We have sponsor sections available that way. I'll talk about you.
Yep.
I'll say nice things about you. I'll use your products. Buy it now. John will totally get your ad.
That was just like, we need like toothbrushes. So it's like, this is brought to you by Oral-B. Like,
oh, wait a minute. This is brought to you by melatonin. When you need something to cause you to sleep because you hate yourself so much, you can't stop thinking about that at night. No.
Look at that.
What?
That's the kind of quality you get, people.
This is I gotta like hold it up. It's melatonin. It's a thing that helps you sleep. You deserve to be happy and healthy. Sundance Vitamins makes superior quality nutritional products affordable for everyone. We believe each person deserves to live their healthy lifestyle without worrying about cost, one product at a time. Brought to you by the Sundance family. See? Done. No, I really do. I do use these every night. Every single night.
Maybe that's what I should start doing.
Sleeping stuff?
Yeah, just, or do like 4 months of cocaine and then just stop.
That's true.
And then I'll just sleep all the time because I'm so tired, right?
No, yep. And then the really hard part is not going back on cocaine. That's a life ruiner right there. You got to be able to stop.
I think I can do it.
I'm noticing a lot of weird.
I have a whole bunch of proof that I can totally stop doing cocaine.
See, John's about to go buy cases of melatonin. Honestly, if you're having trouble sleeping, there's a couple of remedies, and melatonin's a safer one. But that aside, ladies and gentlemen, let's hit the flute button, because I just want to hear it. And you're like...
Joke's on you. You thought we were starting the show. We still have 30 more seconds.
All right, so today is a Gotta let the flutes play. Today's a special episode, or it's not really special. It's we've been talking about
Every
one topic
episode
at a time.
is special. One topic at a time.
Episode is special. Let's go ahead and hit the first thing. It's special is because I have an interface adjustment, and my first question for Tom is: if you maximize that, can you still read the things on the screen? That's my real obvious question. I need for Tom.
Maximize. Like if I can read stuff.
Like the stuff on the right hand side, episode names and things.
That's where it gets a little sketch.
Okay, all right, little sketch. Let me maximize mine. I'll take a look, see what you're seeing. I'll maximize my preview. Okay, yeah, I'm okay with that. I am absolutely okay with that quality.
You'll be able to see all of your drawings.
I will, and that's the important part. So today, ladies and gentlemen, we're talking about Roll20, and you see the big spoiler alert tag that way on the screen. We will be rehashing some of our details here about the opening episodes, or the opening moments of Siren's Call. Yeah, the deets. And the idea here is that OneNote's a great place for taking notes, but the execution is a little neater when packaged on Roll20. And I have how do I want to do this? A Roll20 link, Roll20 page right there. And I've done a little bit of work. So what I'm going to do is walk you through how I use Roll20. And then we're going to add on Tiffany's Diner. We're going to do some map work. We're going to maybe do some typing and essentially continue to flesh out everything we have for the first session into Roll20. And Tom, you have the DM's permissions too, so you can see this too.
I found the tab. I might have lost it, but we're good.
You're good? All right.
Yeah. I was panicked. I have a lot of tabs open right now because I have a lot of information that can't be lost for a short amount of time, so I really don't feel like bookmarking at all.
That's fair. No, that's absolutely fair. That's called web browser addiction.
Yeah, that's called having to deal with like 40 players and needing information about all of them.
That's what all those things are. Yeah. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is orient you to this application at a basic level. Now, Roll20 is free. I have a pro membership, and some of the things we're going to talk about are pro membership during this stream, and I'll point them out when we get there. But right now, this is the basic map. And if I zoom all the way out, you can see I've placed the world map on here. Now, this is always a great place for characters to load in when they start. Now, you can move screens and not bring players to those screens, so you can get things ready and then drag them over. So I leave the players here typically before a session. Sometimes you can custom make your own start screen with instructions and data. And that's something I'm going to be doing for Adventures League. Kind of keep putting my DCI number out there, details about the adventure, my home rules about behavior and not being an asshole, things like that. That's where players load in.
But those are the best characters that definitely don't ruin the fun for everybody, Casey.
Great point.
That's what I'm here for.
Your
content.
Except take his sarcasm to be sarcasm, and know that if you're an asshole, you're ruining everybody else's fun. But we could definitely have an episode later for like how not to be an asshole player. Maybe Tom really did buy Case's melatonin. He ain't typed in 5 minutes. Is he alive? No, really though. On the left-hand side, you have a selection of tools and sub-tools. We start with the mouse, which lets you select, move, and pan view. Select move is going to be your most frequently used tool.
Look at that roll.
Did you roll something good?
Sorry.
Oh,
I rolled it, and I got a 996.
That's
like a
good.
D20 almost.
That's like a 19 or a 20 on a D20. Yeah. Yep, that's what that is. Or
and then
19.9.
You can do that over and over and over and over again, guys, until your DM kicks you out of the game.
That's true. You do have the power. Just so you know, the way to kick a player out of the game. Is it here? No, I don't actually know where it's at right now.
You go to Discord, you find your DM with Shazam and type "You are not my friend anymore," and then click on friend.
All right. So the tools. Select, move, pan view. Pretty self-explanatory. Pan view, it glides the map over. So if you're streaming D&D, it's a little easier on the eyes to do that than grab these sliders. Give them a nice, easy transition around the map. I'll be using that for my shows pretty frequently. You have different layers on the second option. You have the map background layer, which this map sits on. You have the objects token layer, the GM or Game Master info layer, which is things only you can see, and then the dynamic lighting layer, which is a pro feature, which adds visibility and light issues into the game, which is nice when you're playing with people, so you can hide sections of the map. I don't do Fog of War as much as I usually do dynamic lighting, and we'll build a map with dynamic lighting when we build Tiffany's Diner. All right. All right. So oftentimes your map background, everybody sees that. The objects token, everybody typically sees that if their characters have line of sight. And your GM info layer, I use that most often for putting creature tokens that I don't want seen right away or aren't quite there or invisible or sneaking. But they're easy to move layers. You may have noticed I right-clicked the map when I was on its layer, when it was on the token layer, and I sent it to a different layer there, and that's pretty easy as long as you're on the appropriate layer. Another good one down here is for drawing. And drawing? Yes, drawing. You can draw shapes such as shapes such as squares, which I think might be. Is that the only shape? No, there's some actual instructions here. Draws a rectangle, hold Alt for a circle, and hold Shift to snap to the grid. You can draw freehand. You can draw lines, which is the most important. One of the most important things you can do. You can write out text, which we could, for example, put down jelly koi. Is that how I spell it? It is how I spell it.
It's close enough.
We can mark jelly koi on the map. And to get that text again, you have to go back to the select move tool. You also have an effects tool, which you can use to drag and create effects, if you will. Like an explosion of fire on the map when you're trying to show a trap.
Oh no, my character.
Things can glow. You can shoot missiles. Your character. Splatter. Some cool features.
Oh man, I like the blood splatter one. Never mind. I'm not doing any. I'm just gonna be doing blood splatter effects.
Tom's not doing any background tracking. Just blood splatter. Got it.
Yep, 100%. I have changed my whole life goal.
An important one here is the ruler tool. We'll be using that to measure out distances. Now, most squares are set to 5 feet by default, and I'm going to learn something right now. I can set distances now that aren't just feet. So I can come down here and go to our scale. I can realize that it's about 100 feet per square. 100 miles per square, and then I can go in here and put this into miles, mark it as 100. So which square is 100?
Actually, yeah, it's pretty close.
Pretty close, if we knew exactly what it was. And now I can tell you the distances between squares. And we can use this to follow the campaign as they go from square to square and interact with things. Wow, that's pretty nifty. Learned something today. This button here is the Fog of War. You can hide the whole map. You can reveal areas, reset the fog. We don't use a lot of that. That's more for hand revealing areas. I just block things out with dynamic lighting. There's a turn order for doing your initiatives, and we'll talk about that probably closer to game setup. And then there's a dice roller. Yeah, there's no characters yet. And then there's a dice roller, which is mostly self-explanatory. You click the dice, the advanced dice roller. You can reroll rolls. You can set up rolls in here. And there's some other additional options that run with other game systems, such as exploding and compounded dice, but D&D does not use those, so I've never really invested in that knowledge. But you can see on the right-hand side, things are being rolled.
Look at those terrible rolls.
Those terrible rolls.
Good thing you didn't have disadvantage.
All right, so moving over we can see the maps up here. We have created ourselves the Smuggler's Hideout. Now, you can see a little bit of dynamic lighting already. If I click, I'm in the token layer. I gave one of these thugs a, what do we call it? A vision. He has a radius in which he emits light, and he has sight. So he can have sight and emit no light. And in this room, he will be blind. When you have players with different levels of dark vision or torches, this is where that information goes. 40/20 in this case would give him a 20-foot bright light and then a 20-foot dim light, and you can see that represented here. And the boxes, I've created a little bit of shadow. That is in the dynamic lighting layer. If you click that, you'll notice these orange lines I've created that block light in different directions. Little bit hasty. I like to. You always want to go in on these lines. So if you notice, these lines are in a bit from the boxes. They don't. This is Shift or Alt. There we go. They don't cover the edges because I still want these to be identifiable for what they are.
Right. You can see what the outside of a box is if you're right next to it.
Correct.
It's not hidden by an invisible force field of no light.
So I have GM overlay opacity. I don't actually know what that. That's the GM. Here.
Opacity.
Opacity. Thank you. If I go over
I deal
here,
with numbers.
I can.
I don't know words.
You can see now what the players see if I kill my opacity. I've never actually pronounced that word correctly, so thank you.
I think. See, now John's gonna think I'm dumb because he's gonna know
The right spelling.
Right. Yeah. or the right pronunciation.
So most of this is then kept track of over here on what we call the journal. The journal is, for me, a series of folders, handouts. Well, it is a series of handouts, folders, and characters. And I actually want to learn something really quickly. Can a monster be a handout? And
Opacity.
I don't know if a monster can be a handout. Can I this? It cannot. Ooh. Wait a minute. Okay, no, it just created me another character. All right, so.
Oh, look at that. We got Casey, the character god.
I did just create a lovely character named the Commoner.
Boom.
Life form created. Jeez, hold me back, guys. That's a
good character name right there. What's your name? The Copy. And they're like, isn't that just like a shitty version of the original? And then you discover his existential crisis, and it's a good time. It's a good time.
Let's go put Commoner under NPCs. Right there. All right, so the steps, which you just saw me do, which we can make a little easier for ourselves with. There we go. Let's go ahead and delete that. You just saw me do was create a character. As I talked about, the journal it's in handouts, folders, and characters. Those are the three objects you can create. The simplest way to do it is to right-click a given area, say a folder, and add a character, a handout, or another folder inside of it, or to click up here in the add and add those things. So what I've done here is I've created the thug by going over to the compendium. I typed in thug, and this is Roll20. All of the SRD, the open source stuff for D&D is built into here, into this compendium, so you can just drag a thug over. When you drag it onto the map, it'll be on that space on the map. It'll be, since I already have a thug, it didn't recreate it. Did it? No, that's weird. Should it have? Should it have? No, it didn't. Okay. So anyway, you do that. You have a thug. If you don't have one yet, it creates it. Then you drag it down. Give it a nice little picture, and move on. And you'll see me again do this when we get a little deeper and we do Tiffany's Diner together.
Oh, he's so cute. He's a cute little thuggy wuggy.
Oh, all right. Let's see.
He's adorable. And then you murder.
Opacity. Okay. We had it right. Thanks, John.
See, that's why John's here, right? He's the fact checker.
John's just typically right about things, didn't you know? He's
That's true.
my hey John, does this sound right thing? And he says, no, you're an idiot. Stop asking me questions.
You don't put a hamburger on a hot dog bun. Like,
Ooh.
not even trying it.
I mean, what if you're out of hamburger buns?
Do you
Cut the hot dog bun in half, like open it up, cut it in half.
just use bread?
I mean, if you're a monster and want it to soak through, it becomes like paper thin.
That's why you toast the bread.
Oh my gosh, just hot dog bun is I want to say I think a hot dog bun better than bread.
No.
Even
I have
toasted.
not. You can buy a whole loaf of bread for like 89 cents, and
Yeah.
you could buy like 8 hamburger rolls for like $3.
This isn't
It's a ripoff.
This isn't
a
about
rip-off.
price. This is about what you have in your house. Are you telling me that you don't ever get hot dog buns because you eat your hot dogs with bread? No,
Absolutely, no shame. The amount of money I have saved. I have since college.
Yeah.
I have never purchased a hot dog bun or a hamburger bun. Ever.
He's a monster. We need to stop him.
Bread man.
Bu-bu-bu-bu-bu.
That's my character name.
Breadman, I'm down. Let's do it. You are going to be a water ganassi who loves bread but can't handle it because he makes it all moist when he touches it.
Nothing's worse than soggy bread.
Haha. Okay.
What a crisis. All right.
So yeah, some basics of how I use these things. I use characters, monsters, and character sheets. You always want to preload some good character sheets in here for players to edit it, for players to get in and create their characters. Roll20 has a couple nifty tools for either editing the character directly, creating an NPC, or using the Character Mancer. I've never clicked the Create an NPC button, but it does look like, just does look like these monsters we're dealing with down here. Just the edited version. So let's go ahead and not make them an NPC, and we do that by deleting whoever that was. There we go. You don't exist anymore.
He is the character creator and destroyer.
I brought you into this world. I can take you out. Very cool. Very cool. All right, so character sheets. We won't get into how to make character sheets, but when playing D&D and Roll20, it is better to have your characters here. I know I love D&D Beyond for just about everything. So much so that I make all of my Roll20 characters in D&D Beyond and in Roll20. But that's mostly because I want to make sure I'm not screwing things up.
D&D Beyond.
D&D.
Yeah, no, it's definitely good. Maybe that's what I'll keep track of too. Is all those characters. Why did I just say that? That's
keep track of them on D&D Beyond, and
yeah, make sure they're the same.
You could be our guy who edits character sheets.
Excuse me.
Honestly,
our
that'll
elf
be
ranger is cheating.
That'll be the one thing that I will make our players do is keep their character sheets updated. Because if we're going to put hours into this, the least they can do is spend 45 minutes before a session leveling up.
And then what I can do is I could just like remove things, and then if they don't notice that it's gone, somebody stole it in the game.
Yes, that's actually a pretty cool little feature. Not one I like to exercise because taking things from players isn't a fun way to interact with the game.
It is for me.
It would be hilarious for us, and you're an evil human being. I think like 5 people just left this Twitch because of you and your evilness. How dare you? All right. All right. So we talked about characters. We're going to talk about folders are easy. Let's talk about handouts. I have 3 handouts here, and I've kind of taken some of the work we've done in Gillicoy and put them together. Actually, I don't think this is a good note. Yeah, this is just this is not a permanent note. All right, so Trouble in Gillicoy. is typically this is it's your top note, and I take this format off of Curse of Strahd because they did a really good job of it. This is going to be your general summary of the adventure and the current settings of the
Hey,
current
I
setting.
know that work.
Yeah, and this is my area of interest. Not as fleshed out as this thing. This is not done. I will be putting some paragraphs into this later and some descriptive, mostly things to remind me what's going on. I don't need this for the players. I don't need this for other people. That's a great thing about making your own adventure. Is you don't have to put all the content detail into it. But when you're reading something like Curse of Strahd, it's going to be reading parts of the book to you. So there's that. Areas of Gillicoy. Now, this is where most of the meat happens. Again, stealing Curse of Strahd's format for this. You put a map up here. You can show this map to the players by clicking the Show to Players button. That'll put it in their journal. They'll get to keep it, but only the sections, that aren't GM notes. If I click Edit, you can see there'll be some descriptions and notes that players can see, and then only things I'm going to see, which is where I save the adventures. Now, the end result of this should be a map with numbers on them, like 1, 2, 3, 4, outlining where each individual, what buildings correlate to which one of these numbers down here. And then as I come down, you can see I've kind of just retyped the descriptives. The descriptives are quotes.
Right.
The titles are headers. The regular text is normal. The formatting is really and completely up to you. But this is what kind of works for me and for really most of the Roll20 modules kind of keep this format that we're using here. You will notice I pulled out Tiffany's Diner menu because that's a handout I could give players. That's a separate piece. It was taking up a lot of space. It didn't look good, so I took it, I put it over here as Tiffany's Diner menu. I even went as far as to copy, take a screenshot or a clip of the text document we were using, the OneNote, to make it just make it an image. Now that's not that fancy. I didn't burn the edges. It wasn't. It doesn't look like a great note, but it's something. Rather than handing them a text document, they'll see a menu.
Yeah. If anything, it's like a singular note. Kind of like a OneNote.
It is a single note that is shared by many people. And you see all the things we've talked about. Let's go ahead and save changes. Before, the mayor's office is... I changed Smuggler's Guild to Smuggler's Warehouse. Entrance and Smuggler's Warehouse as two separate things. Keeping all our notes, our personality marker, kind of that reminder. Hi, I'm Paul Rudd. This is my shack. I wasn't done talking yet. Oh, wait, that's what it was. It was, hi, I'm Paul Rudd, and this is my shack. I wasn't done talking yet. What are you doing in my shack? I need to really expand my bad guy deep voices to have multiple layers, or they'll all be the same.
Or maybe that's it's part of the thing. It's all the bad guys are actually just one bad guy who's secretly running them all from the underworld, and that's why they all sound the same.
And then they'll run into a random NPC that has a deep voice, and they'll just kill him on sight. Smart.
Next level plays.
All right, so let's take a look, and let's go ahead and together we're gonna build Tiffany's Diner because that's what we're doing here. We actually have to advance. I just can't tell you how to use Roll20. We're gonna do some stuff now. There are great map making software. There's great map making software out there, and I will probably use it for the most part. Or use it sometimes.
Sometimes is a good time.
Sometimes, but not all the time, because there's a lot of great stuff out there that is either open source or I have no idea where it comes from. So be careful about your sources and your images. I guess you don't have to be careful in your home games, but if you're going to stream these things like we are, we're going to have to be a little more careful about copyrighted material. For now, I'm going to use a tavern I've used in the past, and it is of questionable copyright material. Taking a note. Go ahead.
It only serves breakfast.
It only serves breakfast.
Yes.
I think he's getting it. I think he's getting it. You saw that menu. There it is. If you can't see it, I'm gonna zoom it in for you, or at least that much to zoom. You might have to like pull your eyes to the screen and squint, but it zoomed in for me, and then shrunk again for you. So yeah, Tiffany's Diner. So the first thing I'm taking note of is the image size is 1300 by 916. So I bring in this file, and it's on the token layer. So I'm going to drop it down to the map layer, drop myself down to the map layer, pull it up to the top, and I'm going to go into the settings, the page settings here, and we're going to get ourselves a good old, as close as we can to that height and that width by clicking these buttons. And I'm going to go a little bigger, and we'll shrink it in a second. You'll see why as we expand Tiffany's Diner. All right, but you'll notice the grids don't quite line up. So let's give that a fix, but I'm going to give it some more breathing room, some more white space. And you just have to right click and find yourself a good empty spot where you can see all the lines. You can see on this map there's blue lines. You need a good 3x3 square that you can see both corners of, and you want to zoom in as far as you can for accuracy. Then you're going to right click it. You're going to go to advanced, and it's this thing called align to grid. This is going to quickly size your map background to match the Roll20 grid, but you have to create a 3x3. So I go to this corner, and Roll20 is in my way. So try again. That's Roll20 is absolutely in my way for that. So let me align to grid. Can I move that? Okay, good. I got my 3x3. It's going to be about here. There's one square, two squares, and there we go. 3x3 right in the center. Looks like the cells are about 73 by 74, so I'm going to make it 74 by 74, and I click align to grid, and that is one off, which means it's probably the other way, probably 73 by 73, which is fixable by aligning to grid. One more time. And this is every map. Every map. Oh, okay. Now you're 70 by 70. Let's see what that looks like. Close enough for government work, I think. Perfect. The idea being that somewhere in the middle of the map, they should still be. And hello there, the latest dude has resubscribed for 11 months. You've been waiting for that button. Ba-da-da-da-da-da. Da-da-da-da-da-da. Down. Thank you, John. Let's see if I can make logic out of this.
Align to grid again. I'm almost there.
Align to grid. Grids need to be a little bigger, so we're gonna do that. But now we're gonna do it manually. How do I do that manually? 1 times 70 pixels. Wait, is there a height and a width? Height and a width? I kind of want to get this perfect, Tom. So you're gonna give me a moment to align the grid. It's been called for. He wants the align the grid.
Welcome to an hour of aligning the grid.
Well, we know it's between 70 and 73. Right? We just got to, we'll try 72 by 72. And then we're gonna move it up. And it looks like the grid is a little small again, so 73. Thank you very much. Do-do-do-do-do-do. So right there, and 73. Align to grid. All right, perfect. Oh wow, that's not perfect at all. Wait a minute. Can I? And now what is the problem? Like, it just went way off. So it was absolutely too big. It was a 70 by 70, and I was just being way too picky. Because, right? Yeah, I was being way too picky. Let's do it one more time.
Encore.
Now it's 64 by 64? What is this shit?
Welcome to Numbers with Casey.
I'm doing things. And they're working.
This is by far my favorite part of the show so
All right.
far.
1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, I need to take 4 from the height and width, and this is fine.
The DM, he can destroy characters. He can create characters. But can he line up a grid? Find out this week on Delvin in Deep.
We're live. We got it, and close enough. Fuck me.
Oh man.
I could probably just take it and edge it a little bit, and it won't be as noticeable in the middle of the screen. And then I don't have to keep playing this game. All right, good enough. All right, so we have that aligned. We're gonna get out of that layer, and we're going to now do the lighting, dynamic lighting. All right. Let's get to the dynamic lighting. We're going to use ourselves polygon lines. And I like to use a bright color for the walls. This is super simple. It's all left and right click. So when you left click, it's going to be a continual line. You're going to click along places. So you try to go to the middle of all your walls. With left click all the way to the doors. Right click at the doors. So it stops the line. Then restart. You're just going to follow the edge. Stopping at windows. Trying to make as straight a line as possible. Some rooms will line up to the grid a little better. And some won't.
So you can only do these orange lines on grid lines.
No, you can make these any shape you want, anywhere you want them. Because you'll notice that this wall isn't on a grid line. It is simply a wall in the image. And now they work closely to the grids, but they are not on grids. And I'm kind of right-clicking in. I'm right-clicking to end the line everywhere you see me pick it up. And break. And we're just tracing this entire wall. No happy accidents here, no trees, no art degrees required. We are just getting close. The center's always best. It's always better when it's clean. Players will not be able to see through any of these orange lines. So you want to get them everywhere that their vision might be impaired. Without a break. And we'll show you what that looks like in a place as complex as this. I like it. I do like these, kind of living spaces they feel alive. With hidden booths, stairwells, in some cases, doors, which I like. You need to make doors separately because they need to be able to be moved and deleted. So I make another color, and I trace out closing. Ooh, that was actually a window. Don't move over windows because they should see out them. Is there a height limit on those? Halflings can't see very high over the bar.
That's brilliant, but I don't think so.
No, there's not. That would be good if there was like a halfling layer.
So great! Oh my god!
Who would play a halfling? You just couldn't see anything in the world.
A player would step in front of you, and then your vision would go out.
Oh man.
Oh.
No, that's great. And these are all doors. Give each one of these. Hey, Cruel, you're a halfling sub for 5 months. You're my hero, dude. Welcome to the stream. We are artistes right now. We are drawing lines. We're drawing lines, guys. But we've done it. That's it. That's all of the line stuff. That's double 2 subs in a day, fellas. I know it's been like a solid 5 days since I streamed, so I appreciate you guys hanging out. You go back to the token layer, it all disappears and it's transparent. So let's get ourselves a commoner in here and give them vision. Let's give them some sight All players see light. They have sight. Let's give them. We'll call it. Yeah, torch. Let's torchlight. Now, they're not always going to emit this kind of light, and I need to go into the settings. So we're going to enable dynamic lighting, which is what we're working with right here. We enforce line of sight.
If their torchlight dies, do they have to start over?
What do you mean?
Like, let's say their torchlight goes out. Do they have to restart the game even though their fellow NPCs, their torchlight didn't die?
Yeah, absolutely. You have to restart all the games with your friends. All right, so
look at that, John getting the jokes. Hardcore fan.
That's when you follow for 11 months, you get the hard mode jokes. Damn it. All right, so one thing you'll notice about this map is it says the Manticore's Tail Common Room, and if this player were to go out, they would see those words. Well, you know what, Tom? We can't have that. They have to think this is an original creation. So we're going to make that invisible by drawing a line around it.
Oh, is that how you do that?
Boop. Now nobody can see it.
Wait.
Yeah.
Wait. So, like, let's say in the Curse of Strahd you were doing some stuff, and then, like, you would make names disappear and reappear.
Yeah.
Is that how you did it?
So the names were on the GM layer. So, like, if this was typed out text, it would be on the GM layer, and I was pulling it up when you learn the name or deleting it to get it out of my way. That's what that was doing. This is very basic. This is like, I don't have my own map. So I'm just keeping that a secret. Because this isn't the Manticore's Tail. This has a name and it's a place. This is Tiffany's Diner, right? Now, you'll say, well, you're in a diner, Tom, and you're using a torch to see. That's silly.
Super silly.
Super silly. You don't have a torch. You have light. And that's what we're going to do.
Yes, I have a lot of light.
You have a lot of light. So I'm going to create something we can come back to. And I'm going to call this Builder's Map. And essentially what I like to do here is keep reusable objects. If you go to the art library, there are some free assets for you. And I like to use those to create little fires, little torches. So I'm going to type in fire. I'm going to find a nice tiny glow that we can use. Usually something like, yeah, there we go, whatever that is. It's a nice little fire. We're going to shrink it down nice and small. And it's still a token that we can use to emit light. Now, these are torches. We talked about those before. Torches are 40 feet of dim light and 20 feet of bright light. All players will be able to see it, and it doesn't have sight.
And what British people call flashlights?
British people call flashlights. Saving. Copy. Now, you don't want to make this a token, so we go to the map layer to drop this, and we drop it everywhere we have a torch on our map. And it will emit light in all directions, working directly with the dynamic lighting that we have. And this, and I usually even put a couple of these bad boys in the fireplace to give some.
Oh, look at that! Bam! Realistic fire.
Guys, these are techniques you could use for your own home game.
Maybe Tiffany could be a manticore.
Why didn't we think of this?
Why is it? We need a rewrite. Quick.
John does have a ton
of great ideas.
Yes, but emoticons. He has a billion.
I don't know how many people he subs to. I'm assuming it's at least one. That would be me.
I mean, to be honest, we're pretty special. Like, he may sub to a lot of people, but he only gets one Prime sub.
Oh, he does only get one Prime sub.
And he chooses us, and by us, I mean you.
I mean, Todd, you're like 10% of this stream. That's fair, right?
when it comes to generating content this episode, absolutely.
All right, we're gonna add ourselves another
Okay,
NPC.
okay. So I see Casey. That's in control. I see. I have no idea who that is. I have no
Zombie
idea
grub.
who the dog is. Zombie grub, a dog, and arrows. Wait, then how do you have all the other ones?
The SNG is just one of his subs. So you see SNG drawl and SNG burp.
Oh, okay. So like, cause I have that one too.
I like
Okay.
I like that. Which ones do I have? That one. Somebody subbed me to this person. I get free subs, so that one. Overwatch League apparently. There you go.
You sub to Overwatch League?
No, I just got a free Overwatch League emote because I probably completed something. But not what this show is about. I have
Those
created a
15
character.
minutes are up.
We're going to call this character Tiffany.
Look at that.
Bam. And I have a nice little token for Tiffany.
They call her the Manticore because of her piercing gait. Wait, that's a Gorgon.
We're going to give her commoner stats. So I just go back to...
Is commoner stats, is that a thing? Is that like a standard, like
Yep.
commoners are 10s across the board?
Absolutely.
Okay.
So, I mean, commoner is a... commoner includes peasants, serfs, slaves, servants, pilgrims, merchants, artisans, and hermits. They have a club attack. They have 4 hit points and a 10 armor class. They have 10 across all their stats. This is a basic human. Basic humans swing for a +2 and deal 1d4 damage.
Ooh, that's. Wait. They deal 1d4 damage
With a club, yeah.
with a club. So every human, or like every normal person, has a chance to one-hit KO every other human.
Are you telling me that you, a commoner,
Yeah.
could not, with a club, kill another man?
All I am saying is that nobody could one-hit
Nobody could one-hit what?
kill me
Oh.
with the club.
Really?
I just want to say. So I think
Okay.
my stats are higher than 10s across the board. I'm just saying.
You might be true. Maybe you just rolled higher on your hit points. All right, so we have dynamic lighting. The thing about Tiffany's bar is, for the most part, it's going to be...
Commoner stats seems like a line from Mean Girls.
man.
I like how like now my purpose is just to read John's comments and laugh at them.
I mean, it's almost like you are creating content, but you're also like detracting from content because we're getting somewhere, and then you're like, content detractor. But no, you're not a content detractor because John is not a lack of content.
John is a content tracker.
He's a content tracker. He's a content creator. He's a content participant. So what we have here is we're dropping in our thug, because what did we say about Tiffany's Diner? Something's going to catch on
Thugs in the
fire.
back.
Thugs in the back. There's going to be lots of commoners floating around here, eating their food. Maybe not there. Maybe back here, having like far corner discussions. They're in line. That line, he probably goes to the door because Tiffany's got some good stuff.
Some good eats.
Some good eats. There's pumpernickel bread. The guy in the back, and then the characters will be here. And this is where the game opens up, in a very familiar tavern-like place. With line of
the
sight
diner.
issues. It's a diner. This is Tiffany's Diner. We could even draw over this on the map layer and just be like Tiffany's Diner down here.
Yeah, there you go.
I actually find this is a pretty cool place to start your games, even if you're... Like, I talked about that loading screen, but this loading screen lets you keep character tokens in a bar. And then you get to... what's the thought? Then you get to make sure that their tokens are in good shape. They have the right vision, the right light to them. Then you can copy them from this location and paste them on whatever map you're going to go to. And essentially, we have Tiffany's Diner, guys. I'm not sure if I don't think there's anything else to do here.
Let's see. We even got the burglar in the back. How do you show something catching on fire?
So that's going to just have to be in a description. I could draw. What I could theoretically do is go to the GM layer, and I could do some freehand art, make it a good gray, make it an extra large pencil tool, and just kind of draw some smoke coming out.
Ooh, fancy.
And then when I'm talking to them, like, they won't be able to see it. And then once they roll high enough perception, I can go to the GM layer, right-click that, and send it to the token layer. And there it is. Another way we can actually get a little artistic there,
that's so
because we're not amateurs at this,
Absolutely not.
is we can add a little bit more color with the freehand here. Problem is, it's not one object. So even if I oh wow, that is a mess. Let's not make that extra large.
Token layer has all the smoke. Oh man, just on fire all night.
Boop, 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 doop, boop, doo. Yeah, the token layer has all the smoke.
I wouldn't get that if it wasn't for that one song.
Which one song?
That one song it has something about hold on.
Go ahead.
Is it that song that I'm a loser, baby? No, it's not that song.
I'm a loser, baby, so why don't you kill me?
Yeah.
So
There's some song.
So
There's like a jillion songs. All right. Okay, John, I'm not cool. Oh yeah. See, wait, no, hold on.
is that loser? Should I can't play that song, so you're gonna have to play it for me.
No. Darling. No, keep going. I'll find it by the end of the show.
All right. So, interesting enough, John, you say that taverns are too cliche. I think they're perfect. I love a good tavern opening, and I think I might be one of the few people. But Tom hasn't played enough D&D to hate it. It's funny because I think you're right. People think taverns are cliche, but not many people start in a tavern because they think it's too cliche. It never happens. But for me, it removes a layer of mystery. It sets some expectations, a shared understanding of the surroundings. It requires a little less investment in looking around, and lets the players focus on the early character development and the plot lines that are coming their way, because the tavern is just recognizable. It's the same reason we put zombies and undead in graveyards, in dark and stormy environments, because it adds to the theater of the mind without a lot of work. What's the word? Tropes. Good tropes used well go a long way because they create that shared imagery. So for that reason, I actually really do like a good tavern start. But I recognize I'm a little unique in that way. But so we have talked about Roll20.
I can't think of the song.
I have shown you a nice little menu handout.
We've drawn lines. We've drawn orange lines.
I have a line to
blue
grid.
lines.
We don't show Tiffany's Diner.
Did you though? Is it though?
Come on
Is
now.
it a line? Is it a line to the grid? Wait, hold on. Is it though?
That is great. And apparently I need to get my sub going. Just so I have it. Smuggler's Warehouse. We talked about the lines. We have this set up for. We did say there were 6 thugs, so I'm a little off here. Actually, This is a very dangerous encounter. I don't know if you saw what I've done here.
That's because it all depends on if they talk too much around town. Who knows?
True. I mean, they could just get themselves in trouble.
Right.
So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna take all his site away, and while we're at it, I'm gonna put in put this candle in here, this torch in here. Not the diner. I need the warehouse. Put this in places that create light. And this is in case it's at night, because if it's at day, I'm gonna turn on global illumination. And that'll be real easy. Right, I can just put my mouse to things. I don't need to move it. And then we're going to put one here. Nope, copy here and here. Where are you going at? Oh, you just, okay. It's putting it over there for some reason. I'm gonna put some at the top of the stairs. Top of the stairs. Then now my computer's just loving me, and that's pretty good. That's pretty good. That gives light. That gives some darkness. So anyway, I was saying that this is going to be pretty tough because at level 1, how many hit points does let's say a fighter with 14 Constitution have?
They have 22.
At level 1.
22.
So a fighter at level 1 with 14 Constitution has 10 hit points plus 2. They have 12 hit points. Because they had
I see. I was close. I just had them start at 20 instead of 10.
You're right.
So,
I'm
only half wrong. Tom gets a B minus.
So then a wizard with 14 Constitution has 8 hit points. They have a full 6 plus 2.
Which is double a regular person.
Exactly. And let me double check what we put down here for the smuggler's warehouse, because Rod Paul, so 6 thugs. So each of these thugs can deal a maximum. We'll deal an average of 6 damage per attack. They attack twice per turn.
Why do they attack twice per turn? That seems like for first level.
So first level is particularly deadly because this is a challenge rating of 1/2, but it is also level 1 where they don't have hit points. Let's see.
So the thugs are better than our heroes.
The thugs might be. Now let me go up to Kobold Fight Club because we're gonna fix this. We're gonna make sure we properly tune this fight before we throw our friends into it. We are assuming.
Oh man, that'd be so great. We come up with all this work, kill them right away, and that's the show, guys. Thanks.
Bye bye. We're assuming thugs, so we're assuming we have 6 thugs. So 5 thugs is deadly.
But apparently so is 2 Yetis. So.
Well, 3 thugs is hard. For 6 level 1 players, 3 thugs is hard.
That's malarkey.
I mean, you saw their hit points. You heard their hit points. These guys nearly took out Indiana Jones. They're gonna be tough. It's not wrong.
It literally almost took out a 70-year-old man.
So if the max CR is 1, what options do we have? And we're gonna say the environment.
And so here's the thing, right? Like
a bandit. A bandit is a better option.
Like a person.
Well, a bandit. So there's a stat block for a thug.
Oh, bandit. I thought you said abandoned. Okay, abandoned. Here's like a question for someone hey, why doesn't a DM do this? Maybe there's good reason, but of course, I wouldn't suggest this for if you're DMing for your first time, but you can let's say you really want to have 6 thugs, you can simply as the DM only have them attack once, right? There's no rule against that. So, but the one thing you just have to worry about there is then you're modifying the difficulty in a quote-unquote unpredictable way because you don't know exactly how that will balance out because you've taken the balance equation completely off the rails. So it's, totally your call. But that, like, have you ever done that before? Going, here is a fight. I want them to fight this character. It's good for a storyline, but it's not good for the rules. So here, let me take they're not going to have counter spell, and then that'll sort of like balance out the fight or something like that.
So I do a really good job myself personally of and I'm even changing the token of balancing things on the fly. And it's not everything. My goal for the most part. Oh wow, is that in the map layer? That's token. What are you doing? Oh, that's what I did wrong. All right, Bandit. My goal is to create a sense that the world is deadly, and it can fuck you up. If you make silly decisions. But I don't want it to be... You can't remove the chance of somebody dying, or the game will never feel dangerous. Ideally, you don't want to kill characters. You want to ride the edge of... You're probably going to die if you don't play smart and tactically. So that's kind of what I focus on, is riding that edge. That makes sense.
So you do, and is one of the ways you do that by removing abilities from NPCs when you feel like they would be pulling you in one direction or the other?
It depends on the ability. Some abilities are too essential to the theme. So the dragon's probably still going to breathe fire, right?
Right.
Now the dragon's fire recharges on a 5 or a 6 at the beginning of each turn, and it's just more like a, oh no, it didn't roll a 5 or a 6 this time. You guys are fine. If things are meant to be a little more dangerous, I do all my rolls in the open. Usually, when I'm in this scenario, I like to do all my rolls in the open, like in a Roll20 specific situation. Am I losing? Let's refresh this page. It is it's freaking out a little bit. I like to do all my rolls in the open, comma. But I won't necessarily play tactically. I won't not use an ability. I might use it in a least efficient manner. I might spread out my attacks. I might not focus down on enemies. I might not go after the wizard. I might swing at the person with the biggest shield. And as characters begin to level up, you're facing not only more difficult opponents, but more tactically smart opponents. These are all the wrong Roll20s things. Let me re-roll this. Roll20.net. And if that makes sense. So you're kind of trying to mix in smart use of their abilities, smart use of tactics, all within the balance of your players. But it's on the fly. There are so many options. Do things start to run when they think they're losing, and that gives players a moment. Maybe they're not losing, but they run. Maybe they didn't have mage armor up. Maybe they're out of spell slots because they cast something earlier. There's so many ways to flex this. I rarely actually do what I just did and mechanically balance the game, which is what we kind of have right now. We have a situation where, according to Cobalt Fight Club, and I'll pull that up right now, the encounter of let's go and put 0 here, but the encounter of 6 bandits is easy. Add in a captain, it is deadly. Take away all but 1 bandit, and it's still hard. So what we have in the situation now is a dynamic event where do they face, if they're loud and they're obnoxious and they're shouting and making threats, they might bring in the bandit captain. If they're start out the fight swiftly and aggressively and not making a lot of noise, you're going to pull in bandits one at a time. The captain might take a few rounds to enter the fight, and then you have this fluctuating difficulty. And this bandit captain is now a thug. He can still... Oh, wait, no, that's what I did. I need to make him a thug. I need to check the balance on thug. Because bandit captain on his own is pretty big. I haven't decided if I wanted to be thug or bandit captain. Okay, so that's a hard fight, all of them at the same time. So I'm going to keep that bandit captain. I'm going to have 1 bandit captain. And let's give him a slightly different face. I guess, does that make sense? Am I saying all of these
You
things?
are saying words.
I don't know if I'm going around in circles with these
No,
words. But
I think the point has been
appropriately battered in.
So like usually it's good to interact with chat. I need to stop looking at John's comments because they completely derail my thoughts.
Yeah, no, it was a good thought there.
But yes, no, Casey does understand the importance of, being on edge.
Riding the edge of danger.
Yeah. Of danger.
Of danger.
But yeah, no. So
Okay. There we go.
So some thoughts for
later times.
all those new DMs watching.
And just kind of my philosophy for how things are going to be going. I'm never going to put my players in a situation where they are definitely. I can't say that. I'm not going to regularly put my players in situations where they're guaranteed to die. Like, that's not a thing I necessarily like. That's not fun. Just, hey, I decided you're going to die. They might put themselves in situations
Right.
that cause them to die.
You can't, you gotta, if we were to, when we meet Strahd in that first scene, if, you shoot him with an arrow,
Right.
like,
Maybe he kills you.
maybe you don't kill the whole party, but you're like, look, snap your fingers. Okay, one of you's dead.
That's pretty good, though, because then you create this sense of, like, oh, shit, this is serious, a fear. That one player acts dumb and runs into 5 traps in a row without healing and he dies. They're like, okay, the Dungeon Master will kill us.
Right.
I believe him now.
Yeah.
Our campaign opens up with you in the gallows, the floor drops, and you die. Campaign over. Good night, everyone. Oh, rocks fall, you die. Interesting note, if there is a wizard, I do think this bandit captain here should be able to kill him in one round. Like, just flat out kill him. So if a wizard had 8 hit points, and in this one round, this bandit captain gets 3 attacks. Let's say one attack deals 7 hit points, which brings the wizard down to 1. So then he will attack again. So the second attack deals 9 damage, brings the wizard down to -8, which is an insta-kill.
Oh, yep, you're right.
If you go to negative your max, it is an insta-kill. Now, the thugs don't have that ability, but they can definitely try. Yeah, I mean, typically as a DM, you don't hit people once they go unconscious, because you have the power to just kill a character. At any point, like, yeah, there's a fight of like 5 characters going on, and the thug hits the down player 2 times. That player does die. Like, it's 2 clubs to the head when someone's unconscious, and they're dead. But strategically, they're putting themselves in a worse position. I guess that being said, I can imagine scenarios where clerics are just picking people up left and right, and bandits definitely want to make sure they stay down.
Or like if a bandit, says something bad about that bandit's mom, right?
Right.
Like,
You've infuriated as a bandit. Yeah, I mean, and there's some things that I like to keep reason and reality behind it. Like, reason, what are the reasons a monster would do a thing that he's trying to do right now?
Right.
It's gotta make sense in my head, and hopefully reasonable person standard. If you want to do something drastic, you have to try to at least establish the insanity of and the danger of that insanity in a villain. So, All right. Well, we have built ourselves and even refined our first major encounter. We shifted the numbers around a little bit to handle level 1s. Depending on the amount of role play, the players might only get this far. I don't have a mayor's office because I'm not going to do every single scene a map, because that's exhausting. And I think I guess
In case he's not a good DM, so he wouldn't do that.
I'm not great, no. Even Matt Mercer only does battles. They're lucky they're getting Tiffany's Diner out of this. Anywhere that I plan on rolling initiative is kind of what I plan on doing. And this is a place where you could roll.
And I mean, and we have the city map, so it's there's always like going to be a general sense.
Yeah.
Of area.
And this will stay a thug because this is still dangerous. Yeah, the city map we have. Well, at least we've given them a handout. I don't necessarily need that to be a player map, and that's right here. We still need to kind of number this thing, but it seems like such finite detail. Like I'm thinking like Tiffany's Diner somewhere in this top road by the farms. Oh, I mean, It makes sense because this is there's grass on the outside of this map I found.
Right.
We're going to have to put the warehouse somewhere in the docks down here in this area. I mean, we just got to label things.
Yeah.
Put a key on here. So, all right. Hey, so real quick, my plans for the future I want to talk about. I'm going to start doing some more Dungeons and Dragons on stream, and I'm not necessarily going to run, 5 different shows a week with storylines and plots and returning players, because that's another world altogether. We are going to have Tuesday's game, which starts in September. It'll be Tuesday. Will be our D&D show, which we haven't named yet. We'll have to think about that. We'll take suggestions now and in future episodes for what the name of that show should be. But this will always be Delving in Deep, and it'll be the episode after the show where we talk about what happened in the show, where we talk about what our plans are. We tell our players not to watch it, and we build essentially the next day's adventure, fill in the gaps where we need to. And it becomes less of a how we're going to run this show and more of a how we are running this, a behind the scenes show is really what I see.
Change those gears. Throw it from neutral to drive, baby.
Neutral drive, because we're doing a lot of idling right now. My life for insta-kill and the player characters. That's what we do. Like every $100 donation, a player dies.
Oh. Yes.
I just straight up kill a character. And then give them half that $100 because I feel bad. No, nothing that crazy. $1,000. I'll definitely build something into the plot that is super dangerous. Is that a good amount? It's like $1 million, and like obviously like $1 million. Fuck your character. You're dying. But what's the line between your integrity and selling out?
Mine's obvious.
$5 PayPal.
It's $5 PayPal, man.
So we would never get the campaign. There'd be too many trolls. Like $5. I have characters on that.
And I would be so rich, and I would buy everybody 5 guys.
Oh, you're breaking up.
5 guys is delicious. Everybody would be okay.
So the other,
I would give all you with all my $5. It would all be pizza. There you go.
The other thing I plan on doing, is throughout the rest of the week, I'm trying to narrow down the stream. So we're going to continue doing StarCraft because that's the bread and butter. People love watching some good StarCraft, and I love casting, good StarCraft. But that's usually referring to Sunday. News on that though is we are going to be casting some Alpha X stuff coming up, and I'll be putting some announcements in Twitter and in my Discord. Some Alpha X Team Cup coming up on the 11th, 12th, and 25th. That's a $200 tournament that I'm jumping into. I'll be casting that on Africa TV though, so stay tuned for all those fun links. But aside from that, I think we'll be focusing a little more on D&D. So at least for the time being, I'm going to start adding in and sprinkling in some Dungeons & Dragons Adventure League content where I dungeon master for random people and or friends. Like I'm going to open up friends if they want to play in the Adventures League. But the Adventures League is this massive campaign, collective campaign where players can bring their characters from table to table to table. It doesn't matter what table you play at, as long as your character is Adventure League legal and you have a log. It's kind of collaborative. Not collaborative. Collaborative is the wrong word. Shared world. You know what? You know what they do for this? You know what they have for these things, Tom?
Pumpernickel bread.
Website.
Do they have spreadsheets?
They have websites. It's organized play is the term I was thinking of. Ongoing official campaign for Dungeons & Dragons that uses 5th edition D&D and features Forgotten Realms settings. You can play D&D Adventures League games anywhere. Players use 5th edition rules to create a character or bring that character games anywhere D&D Adventures League play is happening. So you can go from table to table to table to different DMs. And there's some modules very specific to that stuff. So the idea is, I don't know which schedule yet. Maybe more like a Friday, Saturday, Monday at best. You're going to see me running games for mostly strangers with the options that friends want to come in on this action. They'll have first dibs. I have this new little layout we're working on right here. And let's see, if that chat, get that chat just right. Look at that bad boy.
Just like that overlay.
Just like that overlay.
Align that grid.
Actually, Roll20 is supposed to jump in, but let's see. Roll20. That Roll20. I'm getting used to all this stuff still. Chrome, exe, Roll20. There we go. Done. And then these Roll20 maps are going to be a part of that experience too. And this will be me running games for that. So I hope to be doing that more in the future.
Brush.
Yeah, that's a D&D. So this is done in seasons. That's season 8, module 1. I'm working on right there. Even though the title said 7- something, I was filling in for the design. And I might even run the same module a couple times, because I actually had to make all that myself. I have to read the. You have to run very specific modules. You can't make up your own stuff for Adventures League. So I'd be running the modules provided by the DM's Guild. You spend a couple bucks, they give you the modules, the maps, and I'll run probably the same adventure a couple times, add a second adventure, run those 2 adventures a couple times, and slowly add to my library of adventures that I run for people. Slowly going up in level, slowly telling the story. And I think one of the cool things is we'll see how different players handle kind of the same problem sets.
Right.
While also learning a little bit of the side story, because this happens adjacent to the hardcovers. So when like Curse of Strahd came out, there were Curse of Strahd modules for Venture Leagues that were happening in the same place, but different events. Right? Not necessarily supporting, and I think they all ended up at the same goal, like you're still going to kill Strahd, but the world happens a little differently. So that'll be cool. And I'll pressure all my friends into playing those too. So maybe you'll get to see Tom's sex turtle. Maybe that's the thing that comes back. Baloo. Make Baloo an Adventure League.
Back, baby.
You just got to make an Adventure League legal, which we can talk about how that works after all this. So, ladies and gentlemen.
Does that just mean 18 plus?
18 plus. So between here and the time I leave, which is June 5th, that's kind of what's going to be happening. I'll be playing games that I want to play in between those, but look out for more D&D. And come September when we come back live, kind of expect a new schedule, very similar to what I'm trying out now. Yeah, I think that's about it. Tom, did I miss anything? Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Uncommon.
And I'm...
And thanks for watching. We'll be back, I guess, later tomorrow. I do about 7 p.m. Thursdays, but Delvin in Deep comes back every Wednesday at 6 p.m. until about now. Tune in then. Join us in this D&D world building, and we'll see you eventually on Tuesdays as we actually run this campaign for a handful of really fantastic players. Into the ground. Bye-bye.